Shalom, Yashar Allah. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to you, hopefully elect Akim out there laboring, that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, standing upon your watch post. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp, coming at you with an update on the Ukraine conflict over there with an escalation, with the Pentagon and Biden allowing them to use strikes. I'm going to read it. Biden reportedly authorizes Ukraine to use U.S.-provided weapons to strike military targets in Russia. This is inside Russia, near the Kharkiv region. Prohibit strikes, so-called quote-unquote deep within Russia after threats from Putin. So the Pentagon literally authorized them to start using the weapons that they're supplying to Ukraine to attack Russia. This is pretty much as textbook proxy war as you can get. You know, U.S. is in a proxy war means the United States or a nation is supplying an enemy of their enemy. So they're supplying somebody that's fighting against a common enemy. But they're not fighting them directly, but they're literally giving them all the tools for the job. And this is going to be, Russia, and Putin says that he could authorize the use of a tactical nuclear missile with this escalation. And I want to read through this article real quick, and I have some scriptures, but this is developing. This is 3 days ago. 3 days ago, you can see this 2 days ago and some. This is, look, Ukraine-Russia war latest. Moscow warns it could go to war with NATO over U.S., allowing them, to strike. Like under pressure, Biden allows Ukraine to use U.S. weapons to strike inside Russia. So this is happening. President Biden has reportedly authorized Ukraine to use U.S.-provided weapons in strikes inside Russia, specifically near Kharkov region. According to two U.S. officials speaking to Politico and two others familiar with the decision, the administration has discreetly approved this move. A U.S. official stated the president recently directed his team to ensure that Ukraine is able to use U.S. weapons for counterfire purposes in Kharkiv, so Ukraine can hit back at Russian forces hitting them or preparing to hit them. The specifics. The U.S. has reportedly granted Ukraine flexibility to use American-provided arms such as rockets and rocket launchers to defend against immediate threats near the Kharkov border. However, the usage is strictly regulated. Ukraine is prohibited from targeting civilian infrastructure or employing long-range missiles against targets deep within Russian territory. This development comes after Ukraine and other Western allies have ramped up calls for policy adjustments that would allow Ukraine to strike within Russia's internationally recognized borders. Up to this point, there has been concern that this could lead to a larger conflict with Russia. The Biden administration has resisted this change, and it is one of the countries that believe it could result in a confrontation between the United States and Russia. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken recently hinted that this policy could eventually change. Warnings from Putin. Earlier this week, Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that if Western weapons used by Ukraine struck inside Russia, it could lead to a direct military conflict. Putin added, "How will the United States behave, bearing in mind our parity in the field of strategic weapons? It's hard to say. Do they want a global conflict?" And they do, because this is an escalation of war to collapse the dollar, to further put the world into a turmoil state to where people are going to be clamoring for that New World Order government. The scriptures I have for this are Jeremiah 51:11, because that is a major thing. And this Russia's eventually going to come up, because Russia is the main, let's say, the biggest army next to China for being the, the sword of the anti-American movement. They got the most weapons, they got the most experience fighting. Russia, they were in World War II. They had plenty of other wars that they were involved in, so they're seasoned. This is Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows being the nuclear missiles. Gather the shields. The Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Yahweh hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. In this sense, it's, Russia and the leaders of the Russian, country, even though we know it's controlled by the elites, and this is all controlled by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, but the kings of the Medes being Russia. For his device is against Babylon. So he's against Babylon, which we know is the United States, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, the vengeance of his temple, because the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, is going to avenge his temple being, the nation of Israel, where his spirit dwells. And also for the fact that, how wicked Esau is in being set up in the position of power to be judged for the way that he has managed this earth. Verse 12, set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord Yahweh hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. So, the Lord has had a hit out from the beginning against Babylon, and the Lord had created his enemies to ultimately destroy this place so that our kingdom can come in. Esau has, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua has Esau fighting against Esau to bring down Esau's kingdom so that we can have ours. That's why we don't have to have carnal means to bring in the kingdom, man. This is a spiritual gathering, first and foremost. And I want to jump down here. This is Jeremiah 51:27. Set up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her. Just like the Iranian president that just died, got killed, as you could say. This is that trumpet that's being blown of all these nations that already have it out against Babylon. Prepare the nations against her. Call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz. Appoint the captain against her. Cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. That consuming force. A multitude of nations coming together against this place. 28. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the Russia is a big contributor to the BRICS. And the BRICS is going to be one of the main weapons, even though it's not really a weapon, but it's attacking the US dollar, which is a way of it in attacking the United States itself without firing a bullet, So all this is coming together to ultimately bring in the fall of the United States, Babylon, and also to usher in the World War III, because all this is happening right before our eyes, man. This is a major escalation, and this is going to cause things to, further increase. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the elect. Till next time, Shalom.